I'm Missy, and I've been doing Pampered Chef for about 10.5 years, and when I went to my first party ever, I was the guest that only wanted the food and a couple products, put them on my order form, and I didn't know there was a business opportunity. I sat back, I waited for the food, and I was just there really to socialize and just get a break from my normal life, because at the time, I was teaching full-time. I taught at 2 colleges part-time. I was training for a marathon, and I was finishing up my PhD. So I didn't have a lot of free time, I didn't have a lot of social time, and I thought, hey, I actually have an afternoon, I'm going to go to this Pampered Chef party, and I definitely need to get that crinkle cutter. I went, and she kept talking about all these products, and my wish list kept getting longer and longer and longer, and my wallet was no bigger, so I didn't really have the option to just get everything I wanted. And she talked about, oh, you could have a party, and I thought, oh, no one would ever come to a party if I had a party. And then she talked about the business opportunity, and I thought, you know what, someday if I have time, maybe I'll give it a try, because that sounds like something fun. I love food, I love people, it would be something fun to try. And so a month later, I got a piece of paper in my mailbox that said, do you want to teach summer school? And I was like, oh my gosh, not another day. Like, I just needed a break from what I was doing. And I thought, nope. And I remember I came home and I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she said, what are you going to do? And I was like, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the pamphlet that said Pampered Chef, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll just give this Pampered Chef thing a try. And I threw it behind me and I walked away, and something just said to me, you should give it a try. Why not? What do you have to lose? And I thought, I don't know, I wanted all those products. A lot of them came in that kit thing you get in the beginning, so I'll get the kit and I'll make my mom do a party, my sister and my cousin, and then I'll just be done. And so in the last 10.5 years, I got started for a whole different reason than I kept going. I finished the PhD, I finished the marathon, I got married, and I have 2 kids, and so having my family is the #1 reason why I continue to do Pampered Chef, because I get to stay at home with my kids. And I do not know, I don't think I could have physically taken my kids to daycare and dropped them off. I don't know how people do it. My mom said, you do what you have to. I'm like, I don't think I could have had to, because I don't think I could have done it. Now, yeah, they drive me batty sometimes, and I need the adult interaction, so thank you people for being here tonight, because I need the adult interaction that we're having right now. But being home with them, being available to be at the pumpkin patch activities and the, Thanksgiving feast and the Christmas parties, all that stuff, even though it's preschool and kindergarten, it's important to me. It means so much to me, and it's so neat because my son will be like, I need you to be such and such place. You know, as a 6-year-old, it's important that you're where they tell you to be. So my family is definitely very important. And I have to tell you that because of Pampered Chef, we actually have 2 homes. And without the income from Pampered Chef, I wouldn't be able to pay my $1,200 a month mortgage every month. So as I was getting started with my business, I certainly wasn't making $1,200 a month. But my very first $1,000 commission check, I was addicted to this business. And that addiction continued every single month, because at that point, then I was starting to build my home. And one time I was like, oh, I need an oven. So I went and I bought the oven that cost the amount I made in Pampered Chef the month before, and it was paid for. It was completely done, and I was so excited because it was the oven I wanted, and it wasn't just an oven that would work until. So there are people that start this business, and they just want $100 or $200 a month, and we call those part-time consultants. It's just, they do 1 to 2 parties a month, and they make a couple $100 a month, and that is what works for them. There are people that want to make a little bit more, and they make around $500, $600, $800 a month, and that fits their wallet. I like to make $1,200 a month to pay for my mortgage. There are other people that want to make $2,500 a month, because that's what pays their mortgage. My director, who has quite a few people under her, she makes anywhere from $12,000 to $25,000 a month. So if you know that you could use a few extra dollars, Pampered Chef might just be for you. And I also have to say that in my last 10.5 years, I've had a lot of fun helping people discover the chef in themselves. Because there are people that say, oh, I don't do kitchens. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't do kitchens? I don't even understand what that means. And then I show them the baker and how you just put chicken in the baker with a little bit of rub and stick it in the microwave, and the microwave does all the work. And then you can go do other things. And so, the one day I had all this stuff going on. I had chicken in the baker, I was making fajitas, and I was making tacos all in the same baker at the same time while I was vacuuming. I was having the boys clean up the house, and my parents were on their way, and the house was a total disaster, and I thought, now this is multitasking at its best. Dinner got done, the vacuum went off, the boys sat down, we ate, my husband and I had fajitas, they had their tacos they have to have every night, and I thought, well, whew, I didn't do anything for dinner. All I did was throw it in the baker, and it did the rest, so tell me you don't do kitchens, and I can help you with that. I have to tell you that when I was teaching, the only recognition we would get is when we messed up. Pampered Chef is phenomenal at recognition. It's one of the things that I noticed immediately. You can do 2 parties a month and you get something for free. It can be a bag. It can be a new product. It can be an apron. It doesn't matter. Pampered Chef said, great job. You worked your business. You chose to do this, and they reward you. So in this past year, I was in the I think I was number 14 in the whole company for recruiting, and they had this huge gala. And the picture you see in the catalog, that's from coming from that party, that celebration. And it was just, everything was so much fun, and I thought, gosh, isn't that funny how you just are having a great time and they take your picture and they put it in the catalog like they're important. So they're really good at recognition. One of my favorite things about this business is the flexibility, because I can work when I want to work. Because I do have small children, I only do 3, maybe 4 parties a month, because that's what fits in my schedule. But as they get older, I know I want to work more often and I can schedule more parties. I don't like to work weekends because that's our only family time, so I rarely work weekends. So if you are desperate and need a weekend, I might give in, but if it doesn't work with my schedule, then I probably won't. However, you can look at your calendar and you can work whenever you want. You can do daytime parties, you can do evening parties, you can do weekend parties, you can do 3 parties at one time on the weekend, whatever works for you. And I can explain that later, but the flexibility is amazing. The number 1 added perk that I never thought I would get to do is the incentive trips. So these are just a few of the trips that I've been on. My son will tell you that Disney was the best because that's the one he went on. And my husband will tell you Maui was the best because it was absolutely incredible. We are leaving for Punta Cana in a week, and I cannot wait to go and just sit in a lounge chair and wait for someone to wait on me and have dinner ready for me and whatever else I choose to do without really lifting a finger. So it's incredible. And when I look back 10.5 years, I'm like, you know what? I need a Pampered Chef to sprinkle a little fun in my life because I was really working at so many different things that I wasn't taking the time to have much fun. And so I realize now that I needed Pampered Chef at that time to kind of calm things down and not be working nonstop. And another thing that Pampered Chef is absolutely phenomenal at is support. We have all kinds of training for whatever you could possibly need. You can call me. There's people at home office. There's online training. You can do it on the phone. There's DVDs. There's CDs. You name it, they have training for you. You have a question, it happens. If you are trying to move your business to the next level, there's so many people that can help you. It is phenomenal. And I have to tell you that what I've found with this business is that it has been such a huge blessing in my life that I can keep it all to myself or I can share it with other people. And so I choose to share it with other people. And so as we're getting ready to play a game, because I like for everybody to be able to walk away with something, I would like for you to think, okay, none of those fit in my life, or yes, they all fit into my life. Maybe there's someone you know that this would work for. So I want you to start thinking about that person, or if it's you, that's fine too. But I'm going to let you ask me questions about the business. Because I told you a little bit about it, but I didn't tell you everything. And so just for asking questions, you actually get to take recipe cards. And so there's no strip searching at the end. If you ask one question, you take 4 recipe cards. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But basically, you get to ask me. You can even point to the slide. If you don't want to read it, you can just say, tell me about the. But go ahead and ask me any question you have about any of the things you see here. You can ask me, what's it take to get started? How much money do you make? How often do you work? Any of those things. You can even just say, okay, tell me blah, 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 and I'll tell you. So you all go ahead and ask the questions, and I'll go ahead and answer you.
How much money do you make?
Well, on average, I make about $1,200 a month, and that's basically because of being able to work 4 to 6 nights a month, and then I have people on my team, and that kind of doubles my commission check. So in any given month, I can make anywhere from, if I work really hard, I can have a $2,000 commission check, and if I take a little break, then I have a $1,200 commission check. But I definitely have to pay my mortgage, so that's always my goal, is to make that $1,200 a month.
Are there any goals that you have to keep maintaining?
That's a great question. So I love what Pampered Chef does. They say this is your business. You can work as often as you want. All they ask is that initially, when you purchase the kit, you would sell $1,250, so $1,250 in products, and you can do that as fast as you want. But when you turn in $150 in sales, that's considered being active. So you're part of the company. You're actively turning in sales. If you do that once every 6 months, you stay with the company. That's someone that we call, they're the the discount people because they want to do it for the discount. They want their own discount, and they share it with their family, and they put together an order, and they turn in a show every 6 months. Other people want to be more of a hobbyist, and so they do a party every other month, because what that does is that keeps them active in all the different things going on with Pampered Chef, so they turn in $200 every other month, and that makes them more of a hobbyist. And we have part-time people that will do, 2 to 4 parties a month, and then full-time people will do 8 to 12 parties a month, and anywhere in between. But the only minimum is that $150 every 6 months, so basically $300 a year. And a lot of times people will do that just by asking their family and friends, what do you want? And the new catalog comes out, and then they keep going. Okay, so this part right here, the most important part of letting them ask you questions is that you turn the question around and say, so when you. So if someone asks me about how often do I work, I'll say, well, what fits into my schedule is 1 night a week or 2 nights, I usually do 4 to 6 parties a month. I'm like, but it doesn't always work because, there's holidays and that kind of thing, so then I'll put in a catalog show or a fundraiser or a Facebook party, so you're talking about all the different ways they can book parties with you. And you say, so if you decided to give Pampered Chef a try, you can think about your schedule. What would fit into your schedule, Mandy? I know you have all, Tuesday evenings and Saturday mornings, so you would want to book your parties, on Tuesdays or Saturdays. Or, I have another guy, he was like, well, I want to do like Saturdays and Sundays. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, do you want to work every Saturday and Sunday? And he's like, no, not really. And I said, well, then you could do a mega show. You can get 3 of your hostesses together on the same day at the same place. They bring all their guests. You do 1 party and close out 3 shows. He's like, tell me more about that. So you want to be able to answer their questions enough that if they are thinking, yes, I could use a couple of $100 extra a month, and you have to make sure they understand that that's their opportunity. That's the business opportunity for them. This is when you're getting them to understand that this is why you're offering it. It could change their life. People will say to me, okay, what's your favorite product? It's always the kit, because I don't know what it can do for your life. And I always share this story. I had a girl, my sister-in-law had a party, and only a couple people came, and this girl sat there and she's looking at her list, and I said, do you need help narrowing it down? What do you do? She's like, I don't know. I'm doing my Christmas shopping, and I have over $200 in products on here, and I know my husband's going to kill me. And I said, well, what's for you? And she's like, well, all these things are for me. And I said, well, if you became a consultant, you could get most of those in the kit, and then everything else you could earn for free. And she said, if I did what? And so I talked to her more about it. She said, well, let me talk to my husband, because our daughter's 6 months old, and I don't know, he'd want to watch her, and with his schedule being a cop, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So she ended up giving Pampered Chef a try, and shortly afterward, they had their second child, and he had severe needs. And she said to me one day, she said, I didn't know there was chewing, swallowing, and eating therapy before I had Jacob. And she was like, and if I had a regular job, I couldn't do it, but because I have Pampered Chef, I can work around all the therapies and still bring an income into our house. And I almost started crying, because I never thought about how a business this simple could change someone's life. And she said, I would have had to choose between my child and the rest of our family if I didn't have Pampered Chef. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a humongous story. Like, that makes you think, wow, you're not just selling kitchen tools. That is a life-changing event. And so that's what Pampered Chef can do for people. You have no clue what people are thinking when they're sitting there looking at you. But if they had a great time and they just made a simple recipe in the microwave, and I will a lot of times say, look at what I did. What did I do? I put chicken in the baker, I put it in the microwave, we chopped a few veggies, and we ate dinner together. And so really, did you see me sweat? Did you see me laugh? Because I laughed a few times with you all. I mean, it is a simple, fun business that you can do whatever you want with. You can work as often as you want. You can sell as much as you want. There's no limitation. So when I got started, I thought I couldn't earn a trip, and because I didn't have a title. I thought you had to have a title to earn one of those trips. And they were earning Disney that year. And so everyone said, who's earning Disney? And I was like, title. I had no clue. And when we got to the end of the year, in January, my director said to me, well, Missy, you were only 3,000 points away from Disney. Why didn't you earn it? And I said, I can't earn it. And she said, why can't you? I'm like, I don't have your title. She said, you didn't have to have a title. I'm like, maybe you could have told me in July so I could have worked for it. By December, I could have earned it. And she's like, oh my gosh, she never realized that I thought that I was only a consultant. I love this business. They don't hold anybody back. You get to do whatever you want with this business no matter what level you're at. So you can achieve whatever goal you want just by, you definitely work at it. I mean, you definitely get out of it what you put into it, but you can take a simple kit of kitchen tools and you can turn it into what you need it to be for your family, for your future. So, does everyone